All right, guys, we're probably not going to get rolling till 11:03, 11:05, somewhere in there. Usually got some people that kind of get into the link a little later, so we're going to let them jump on, and then we will get rolling.
Hi, Vanetta.
What's going on? Why is everybody muted? You know what's
Yeah,
going
just kind of waiting for Braden. He said it's going to be a couple minutes and he's going to get started.
We're going to give it one more minute. Give it about 11:05, let everybody jump on so we don't got anybody coming in on the back end.
Hi, Braden.
How are you doing?
Good. I got a quick question for you while we're waiting.
Let's hear it.
I'm trying to get a list of the leads from the Facebook ads that we've already run. I got some leads from there, and I'm trying to get the list from Facebook, and I used to know how to do that, but somehow I can't figure it out.
So if you go to Ads Manager and you look at the ad that we ran or are currently running,
right,
you know, where we see the cost per lead, when you scroll the bar over, there
right.
is a box in there that says, or a label in there that says results, and it'll say on Facebook leads. And if you click, there's like a little arrow down, I believe. Looks like maybe like you would download it. You can
Yeah,
click that,
oh, results,
and
okay.
that'll give you the opportunity to download it as a CSV or a XLS, I believe. I do CSV though.
Okay,
Now, when you get into Ads Manager, in every ad, we have our campaign level, we have our ad set level, and then we have our ad level. Typically, you have to be on the third over, the ad level, to be able to access it. I believe they may have updated that, but I feel like the last time I looked at that, that was kind of the way it had to go.
I just see, all I see is, okay, I went over the ads for one campaign. On that one, I see the results. I see an arrow down. When I click on it, it says sort up or sort down, but I don't see an option to, I know I've used this before. I know I've got the leads from here before, but I don't, I don't see how to, I don't see how to get them.
Did you go to the ad level, that third level?
Okay, let me make sure. Okay, I saw campaigns, then I
Ad
saw
set.
ads set for one campaign, then I said ads for one campaign.
Yeah, ads. Click that tab. Those are little tabs that you can kind
Yeah,
of, and so on that one, that's the one that you typically can download that CSV file from. So,
yeah, that's where I am, but again, I don't see, I see results.
so with that little arrow there, click it, and I think it's going to make you choose the date preset, right? Like, do you want to see the leads from the last 30 days or maximum, or, how far back do you want to pull your lead, your date time, I guess?
I don't see that. When I pull it down, when I click on that arrow,
Share your screen real quick. We'll just knock it out and then,
no problem. Give me a second, please. Okay, let's see here. Share, allow. Okay,
let me. Okay, so you see that arrow where it says Facebook leads? Nope, it's in the corner, the top left corner of that Facebook leads. Nope, where the box is where it says results, there's a little, it's kind of gray, it's kind of confusing looking. So go to where it says results.
I see results here.
Okay, there's a little arrow right to the left of that, down just a hair. Down.
This one?
Nope, that's an I. Down to the left. Right, move your cursor, I mean 2 centimeters to the left.
Here, this one?
That's to the right, to the left.
To the left, this one.
I mean, it's, nope. Down. You see where it says Facebook leads right there to the left. It's right in the corner of that box.
Yeah. These leads right here?
Yeah, just, no. There's an arrow in there. There you go.
Okay.
Now, that should give you the date presets. Don't do download, no, hit your date range.
Yeah.
And then there should be, hit the drop down and see, I would do, ooh, it says last 90 days. I would do maybe custom. You would want to do all of them.
Yeah.
Cause that's just gonna be March 1st right now, cause it's the 28th, so that'd just be the last probably month or so. So I would do custom over there. You see where the bubble? Yep.
Yeah.
And then hit update maybe. Let's see what that does. No. Okay. So here's what I would do. I would hit the drop down box again. Okay. And this is select the 28th. Nope. On the drop down. So
28th of this month?
select that right there. Well, now go take your arrow directly up, straight up to the arrow where it says March 25th.
Yeah.
That arrow, hit that arrow. And keep going back. Keep going back. I don't know how far back we ran, so it looks like the 28th of December 24. So I would hit that there.
Yeah, we only did this month. We just did this month.
Oh, if you just want this month, then I would just do last,
Yeah, we just did this month because we just got it. Remember, we met on Monday and it wasn't working, so we just got it up and running.
gotcha. Yeah, I didn't know how long we'd been running.
That's okay. That's all right. I know
Oh,
working with a
that's
lot of
like
people.
28. You got to select your other date. Yeah, so February 28th to the 27th. Then download.
And you said CSV, that's
I would
what,
do a CSV, yep. So there you go. All right.
that's what I'm not, I know I've opened this before, but I couldn't figure out for the love of me where to find it.
Yep, there it is.
All right, thank you. Let's see if I can capture it now.
For some reason.
Oh, wow. Okay, there they are.
Here's my screen.
Hmm.
Let me share. Oh, there we go. All right, guys. So today what we're going to be doing is something that I suggest that you do really, kind of if you're going to be running these ads. And this is going to be for anybody that, regardless if you have a brand new page on Facebook or if you have a page that you've had for a while, either way, this is going to do two things. One, it's going to have a post that's relative to the ad that you're running currently. Okay. And it's also going to have a post on your page in case it is a brand new post. So essentially, when we run this ad as a sponsored ad on Facebook, we don't drive the traffic back to the Facebook page. That's why we can really get away with running these from brand new pages. But they do have the opportunity to click on your Facebook page there and come check your page out. And so having a post that's on that page that's relative to the ad that is still a lead capture post is a good idea. But just having a post in general in case you don't have any post on there is good as well. So I'm going to do it in KV Core first, and then we'll do it in Lofty. And the cool thing about this is we're going to essentially, I'll teach you the way to do it where it's going to trigger the same campaign as the location you're running. So let's just say, for example, I'm running the new construction funnel for Frisco. I have a drip campaign. Well, better yet said, I have automations put in place based on my hashtag, such as my search alert and my drip campaign with text and email. And so typically what would happen, when a lead comes in, is that campaign and that search alert would be auto assigned. And so what I'm going to teach you is how to be able to do that from a post as well. So in case anybody does come to your Facebook page and skips the ad, there's a potential chance that you can capture that lead if they click on that post there. This is also something I'm going to show you how to share back to your personal page on Facebook. So from your business page to your personal page, where you may be able to potentially lead capture some of the people that are on your personal page that may be interested in the type of homes that we're going to be offering, depending on what funnel you're running, what location you're running that funnel in. So we're in KV Core here. What we're going to do is come into the all lead engine tools, and we're going to go over to the IDX squeeze page and select a domain and then start building. And so you would want this to be built in the same fashion of the funnel that you're currently running. Before in other Funnel Fridays, I've covered how you could switch this up. I'm not going to get into that too much, but you have the opportunity here to do really as customize with this as you can, but I'm really wanting to just kind of focus on replicating the funnel and for more organic traffic sake, if that makes sense, as opposed to paid traffic with the ads that we run. So the location is going to be Frisco. This is where you would want to pop in the location for whatever city you're offering homes in on your funnel. And so Frisco and single family is going to be what I typically recommend for most locations. That's, typically the predominant type of property people want to purchase. So We've got single family. Down at the bottom, we need options. We need to do newly built. So we're pulling all new constructions. Now, you guys probably don't see this, and some of you may be familiar with it, but when we build this squeeze page for the funnels, we change this property views allowed before registration to never, because we're collecting that information in a form on Facebook, right? A form that's actually provided in Ads Manager, where here, since this is going to be a post, we don't have that functionality. So what we actually want to do here is leave the property views allowed before registration to default. I think that's pretty much the best. And essentially what that's saying is that when somebody comes and clicks on this link, they're able to look at two different properties before we have a form registration pop up where it would then collect their information. Okay. Now, source, I would do FB for Facebook. And then this is kind of the important part here, is we want to make sure that we are putting a hashtag on this. And the hashtag would be, we would want it to be the same as the one that's coming in with the leads for the funnel that you're currently running. So typically the hashtag that I do for these funnels is going to be whatever city location -NC. Now, you may be running a county specific ad. Very rarely do I recommend that, but that might be a case. Then you would put that county name there. Whatever the lead or whatever the hashtag is that's coming in on the leads that you're currently running would be what you'd want to put there. So what that means is when this lead comes in or registers on this page, you're going to be able to see that they're coming from Facebook, and they're going to be coming from your post that was the Frisco new construction post. But the important part of this hashtag thing is that we're triggering automation. That means it's going to get an automated text, that 2-minute text, that 3-minute email, and then several texts for the next following days, as well as the search alert that's going to start sending them properties. Very broad property alert system. We set it up, right? All single family homes, new construction, no bed, no bath, no price range, no specific criteria, simply because we just don't know what that criteria is until we make contact with the lead. You know, and then the goal there is once we've made contact with the lead, we adjust that search alert for that lead and make sure we're only sending them properties that fit the criteria they're looking at. So I'm going to generate this link, and I like to use the short link. I think it's a little bit easier just to kind of navigate with, but I'm going to come and put that in here and just take a look and see what comes up. Obviously, we don't want to, you know, post a link that doesn't have any properties populating, and not sure what's going on with this, but if you reload this. So here we have 33 results that populate. And so this is essentially all of the new construction homes that are listed on the MLS here in Frisco. So now that I've got that link, what I'm going to do is come to Facebook, and I'm in my Facebook page. And one thing I want to make sure that we're doing here is that we're managing this page as the owner of this page, and you're not viewing the page from your personal account. I wish I would have not clicked into this the way I did, because I might be able to do it, because I want to show you what it looks like if you don't. I don't think it's going to be able to. But essentially, in most cases, when you get into Facebook, you're going to be coming in for most cases as this is the owner of your personal. And so let's just say I go to North Dallas, this page here, you can see here it is, switch into North Dallas Expert Advisors page to start managing it. Okay, so make sure you switch now so we can obviously manage that page and make this post. So what's on your mind? We're just going to put we're going to paste that link there. Okay, it should populate a home, new construction homes in Frisco. So this is pretty cool, right? It populates the image for you. It populates a little headline is what that's called down there at the bottom. And essentially that's a clickable link, right? That they can actually click on the image, not just that link there, and make that, you know, click that and then go take a look at those properties then again, right after 2 properties, it's going to require that they give us their information to be able to continue to keep looking at properties. Now, I'm going to put this in the chat box. Okay. This one is the new construction. This is the same copy that we use for the ad. So replicating it, right? Obviously, we would want to change where it says Frisco to whatever location you're currently running the funnel in, right? And so I put that in the chat box here. I've got this copied on my end. I'm going to come back to Facebook, hit that. And listen, guys, you can get as pretty and fancy as this as you want. I'm not going to get into all that today. Emojipedia, if you want to do some emojis, don't get too corny with it, but you know, maybe a house emoji, maybe an arrow down emoji, something like that. You know, you can fancy this up as much as you want. Just don't get too out of hand with it, I'd say. And then you would hit next. And then we want it public, and then you can post that. Now, that's what it looks like, right? Like I said, you know, this is clickable. So then this should redirect. Hopefully it doesn't time out like the other one did, but okay, it didn't. Cool. So, and then what's going to happen is, and I'm already signed in, I think, so it's probably not going to require that I do this. But if I was to look at 2 different properties, and I think we'll see, depending, yeah, because I'm already signed in. Typically, what would happen once I viewed those 2 different properties, it's going to require that I register. Once I register, now that lead comes directly into your KV core, and you know, then the automation is going to take place. That 2-minute text, 3-minute email, and that search alert will assign. Okay. So something I'll just touch on, just because I think while we're here, it's good to touch on it. You can look at this as, and the reason I don't want to touch on it because it could get very in depth very quickly. And just with time, it's going to be difficult, but think about all of the different ways by changing the location, by changing the listing type, by changing the price range, by changing the options, right? Fixer uppers just listed, adult 55, horse property, golf course, waterfront, water view, homes with a pool, all the different variations that you could create for this. The reason I don't want to get in too in depth with it is because if you do not have your drip campaign in the system that's built for that specific option or for that specific type of property, then you don't get the functionality of putting the hashtag in there, right? You don't get that hashtag, and so you wouldn't get that 2-minute text, 3-minute email search alert automation, right? So that's why I'm just wanting to cover this today. Let me see, we've got something here in the chat box. You know, Randy, I would love to show you that form. I can't show it to you because unfortunately I'm signed in. What I could do is I'm going to give you that link. Okay. I'm going to put it in the chat box. I wouldn't do it now just because we're learning here, but later on, if you'd like to go look at 2 different properties and have that require you to sign in, you could see what it would look like from there. Now, given I'm about to get into Lofty, depending on which platform you're using, if you're just KV Core, this is where things are about to get into the Lofty side of things. So if you're only here for KV Core or only using KV Core, then there's really not much else we're going to cover on the side of KV Core things. And the next part of this is going to be Lofty. So hang out if you want. If not, no worries. Appreciate you jumping on. So into Lofty we go. And I'm not as well versed in Lofty as I probably should be with this, but I think I remember exactly how to do it. So there might be a little bit of a hiccup here because there's one thing on the tag I'm not sure on, but we'll get through it together. So into Lofty, you know, when you first log in, depending on where it takes you, your dashboard is what it typically should be. We're going to jump into Marketplace. Okay. Or excuse me, not Marketplace. This is going to be marketing. Get those confused sometimes. So marketing, and then we want to scroll down to our tools, and hit landing pages. Okay. And we want to add a new landing page and scroll down. I like this one. This is the multi-property with map, very similar to that KV Core one we just created, right? Where you get the map so they can kind of see. I think I like this because the Frisco for me is a pretty big location. I can kind of point and see, okay, I know this side of the tollway or that side of the tollway where I want to be at, right? But I think there's some other options in here. So you could do like, let me see if there's some other ones. Maybe not. I know there's multi-property. There's a few other ones in here, I think. But for this, we're going to be using the multi-property with map. I thought there was a multi-property without the map. Maybe not. Maybe I'm mistaken. But we're going to select that template, new page. I'm going to name this Frisco New Construction Homes. Okay. And that's all I need to do there. It looks like I've already created this before. So new construction homes. Let's do, just for the sake of things, new. Save. Obviously, I would not put new if that was, if I was you and you were me, wouldn't do that. But let's see here. So this is a little trickier because there's quite a bit more functionality here. But over here on the left-hand side, we want to go to settings. Okay. Here's where you got some options. You could do this like KV Core does it, and you could change this trigger to what's going, what's going to trigger this form to populate, require registration based on views, and you could do 2. This is pretty interesting, and I'm always the kind of type of, I would assume, my assumption would be is that Lofty's probably done more testing than I have, and whatever their default recommendation is probably what performs the best, which their default recommendation is require registration based on browsing time of 10 seconds. If you want to change that back to something like the require registration based on page views, you could. You just need to toggle back up or hit that other option there, and then choose whichever how many properties you want them to look at. I would say 2. That's what KV Core did. That's just my logic there. Okay, so here, this was what I wasn't exactly sure on, but I did find it pretty quickly, so I think we're good. So Frisco. Actually, I believe the way we do this is in Lofty, again, we would want to mimic or replicate that same tag, right? So I think it's new construction. No, okay, so it is location. So Frisco, I just don't think we've ever ran any ads or any leads into this system here for this funnel or this location. Frisco new construction, and add that tag. What should happen is if you've been running ads, you would already have that tag in there. Clearly you saw that I had to, add that tag, but if you're already running ads in there or leads into the system with one of the funnels, then that tag would already be created. You wouldn't have to worry about that. Okay. So now we've kind of got our what would you want to call this? Kind of we've edited this for what needs to happen in terms of, making sure that they register or have the ability to register, and, making sure that automation is going to take place. What we need to do now over in the top left-hand corner, or excuse me, right-hand corner, is hover over this. You can see here that in the right-hand side of that, there is a pencil on a notepad, I guess you would call that, and I hit that. Over now on the left side under preset filter, there's another pen with a pad that I'm going to click. And this is going to allow me to now put my criteria in. So I'm going to type in Frisco, Texas. And then I'm going to come over to the right-hand side next to where it says property type and it says more. I'm going to hit that drop down. And I'm going to make sure I've got some things here. So I do want to see active. I don't want to see anything else. I only want to see what's on the market. Purchase type. for sale. Right? Now, here's the thing, guys. Depending on your Lofty, depending on your MLS, will determine whether you have a option to do new construction, yes or no, or if you need to do this by year built range. If you have the new construction option, that would be the easier route to go, right? Where you could just make sure that it says yes, and we're pulling everything listed MLS, and the MLS that's new construction. If it is not an option for that, then the easiest way to do that, I think, is just putting in your built range minimum of 2025, right? So that should pull pretty much everything, you know, listed that's newly listed for new construction. I can't remember if this one does. I'm going to try to find it and see if it does. Doesn't look like it does. So it would look something like this: new construction Y-N. Some do, some don't. It's interesting. Down here, this does not mean new construction. Made that mistake before. I thought it did. That is just newly listed homes, not new construction homes. Okay. With this, what the easiest thing to do, like I said, is come to the year built, 2025. And then what I'm going to do is go hit OK. And then I'm going to publish that. Exit out of that. Okay. So now my page is published. What you would want to do is come back over into your marketing in KV Core, or excuse me, in Lofty. And this is the one we just created, the new one. I'm going to click that link. And here we go. We've got our properties here, you know, with the multi-property with the map. And so then what we would want to do is copy this link. And now we can come back to our Facebook. And what's on our mind? Same thing again. Now, that's pretty interesting, that because that's not new construction. I'm wondering, that looks remodeled, that maybe how that's pulling. Wondering, let me double check on what we did here. Year built 2025 plus. Yeah. So hopefully yours doesn't do that, because that's obviously not a new construction home. I'm going to have to say that's an agent error in my MLS, and that's a very fluke, unique situation. It looks like maybe it was remodeled and they might have gotten confused and did year built 2025. That's the only thing that I can really make sense of with that. But that shouldn't be a problem in yours. I do believe you have the capability to maybe change that. I don't want to take too much time, but here we go. Everything's moving smooth today. It's nice for a change. You could change this photo and Lofty library. Got some options here. You know, I'm probably not a big fan of much of those. And this is a very, I don't know if this is going to happen on yours. Hopefully. Like what I would do is I would go, like you can see here, here's a bunch of funnels I've just recently launched, but you know, I would search new construction homes in whatever location, make sure it's a large image. And then what I could do is upload that new construction home there. That way, what happens when I make that post, it doesn't look like it's that property. That's obviously not new construction. So back to our copy on this here. It's in the chat box. You're jumping in late. You could come up here above this, and there you go. Make that post. Cool. Post that. Now, the one thing else I was going to show you was how to get that back over to your personal page. Up at the top right-hand corner, what we want to do is come back and select our personal profile. And then what we would want to do is search. Actually, hold on. I think we go home and could go to, let me see here. your shortcuts, which would be an easy way to do that, or you could search your page. I think it's probably easier to do it this way. And now what you could do is come over to the three dots. Actually, that's not right. Come down to the share button. And if you see here, I'm sharing this post to my feed, to my friends. I could make that public if I wanted to, which means I think my personal account's somewhat private, so not everything I post can be seen by everybody. But what that would mean, if anybody came to my personal account and looked at it, they'd be able to click on it, which wouldn't be a bad deal if you think about it, because maybe for some reason somebody searches your name as they've seen you somewhere and they want to see you on Facebook, and one of your posts is that. So might be a reason to do that. You don't need to say anything because we have the call to action in the here, right? And then you could just share that back over to your personal page. And so now anybody that follows that page, that business page, is seeing that. Anybody that's on your personal page would also see that post. And you know, if they wanted to click on it and check the properties out, depending on which way you have it set up, either 2 properties or you know, on, it looks like on a KV Core or on Lofty, we did a timeout of 10 seconds, right? So cool. That covers everything for today. We're a little over 30 minutes, but is there any questions? Does anybody have any questions before we wrap up, jump off?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. You kind of went over, hi Braden, it's Kendra.
Hey.
You went through that really fast. Can you show that last step to post that to your personal page? I got lost.
Yep. So the big thing, guys, here on this is, and let me stop my recording.